So the divestment movement is about focusing on moving money out of the fossil fuel sector and into the clean energy sector. And the purpose of it is to point out that right now the fossil fuel industry plans to develop all of their reserves. Here at COP21, governments are meeting to try and make commitments about how they reduce dependence on fossil fuels. And it's possible that part of the agreement could be a goal to decarbonize the entire economy. And this is being pushed by the most vulnerable countries to climate change. So the link between divestment and this COP is how quickly will we move our economy out of fossil fuels into renewables. And the divestment movement is helping put pressure on the governments who might not ordinarily agree to something like that. There's a number of ways to think about the connection. We won't see an agreement that specifically talks about divestment. What we might see is a commitment to finance mechanisms that actually set a target for how much money has to move out of fossil fuels into the renewable energy economy. And that relates to divestment, but is not specifically about divestment. And the UNFCCC has actually endorsed divestment as a strategy. So even though we won't see it in the text, its influence is being felt. And most of all, a strong agreement here means that the fossil fuel industry is put on notice that the age of fossil fuels is over. And so that is what we are looking to see happen as a result of this COP. But we're not stopping there. As soon as COP is over, the divestment fight continues everywhere that it's active already. So even if the agreement does not give us what we need, we have a strategy in divestment to keep the pressure on. I think that the movement that got us here is going to be strong and maybe even stronger after the COP is over. This is not like Copenhagen, where once the talks end, the movement collapses on itself. There's so much momentum. And one of the things people are planning is a mobilization in May at all the major fossil fuel sites around the world, that if they were built collectively, we would blow past any kind of safe target for warming, no matter what the agreement says. And this is a way of pointing out that even if we get the best possible treaty we might possibly want, if we're still financing the tar sands in Canada, coal export terminals in Indonesia, fracking in Brazil, we're not taking this issue seriously. So that's a chance to really highlight what it's going to take for real climate leadership and to give the movement a moment to say, we're still here, we're still fighting, and we're ready to implement whatever was agreed in Paris.